Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, my name is Elias. I have an office in Mexico City. And, well, a regenerative city basically is a city that is generating life. And we here know it firsthand, right? People generate cities. So we must develop our own positive dynamics to make a city healthy, to make a city with rivers and streams and producing high quality air. Now, basically, that requires daily dynamics. And love is the answer, right? But love of what, right? It's love of relationship, but it's basically at a fundamental level, love of life. And it's not about leaving no trace, but about leaving a positive trace with love. It's vital to wake up the feminine within us, and the big feminine, like Earth feminine, Mother Earth, mountains. This is the story we have been told in Mexico through La Malinche, in the US through Pocahontas. The feminine betrayed the masculine, and this entitled us with a whole series of things. It's a story we tell ourselves. It's a mythology that we've created that allows us to rape our land and to rape our resources. So we need to go deep into our own inner ecology and say, what do I really want? Who am I in relationship to this place? How is my love of life and my love of place aligned with my own vocation? What can I do in my daily life to better the situation? Most of the rivers in Mexico are polluted by my toilet. Well, not all of them by mine, but our toilets. Every time I flush the toilet, it goes into a river. So how do we change that? We need to go knocking door by door. There's a friend installing water catchment, rain catchment in little houses, right? So he's developed more than 1,000 rain catchment strategies. We're working on a bigger thing, right? It's a river. It crosses the entire city. It touches more people, but we need to work at the individual level, at our own level. Now, you feel it in the US also, and I see it watching The Daily Show, how we're in the opposites, right? We're Democrats, Republicans, and in Mexico it's even more complicated, right? The Spanish conquest brought about a huge distrust among people, right? You're Spanish, or you're indigenous, or you're sort of indigenous, or you're Spanish with a little bit of indigenous, or you're... So it just creates a whole different thing. And that permeates to right now. You're Jewish, you're not Jewish, you can't marry a non-Jewish woman, you have to marry a Lebanese or a Catholic, or... Mexico has its polarities extremely present and very, very vulnerable. People react a lot, right? You can't install parking meters. They're from a French company, right? And it gets at the root of things because our territory has been raped, has been taken out. But as they said earlier, we need to let this past go and really, really reconcile, right? We need to really go deep and say, how do we work together? What do you need? It doesn't matter for what class you are, what religion you came from. I mean, we know all this. We need to work on our public goods. In Mexico, we say bien común, the good for all, the common good. And it is about community. We know this, but it's not community in a very abstract sense. In Mexico, I mean, we've been working on a number of cities. Ultimately, the city that has been really permeating, our work has been permeating in much more is in Mexico City. Other cities were contracts, governmental development, or whatever. And what we decided to do in Mexico is let's do this another way around. Let's understand the watershed, because what we do is watershed-based work. So let's understand the watershed. Who lives in the watershed? People live in the watershed. Okay, who is my closest ally? Who's my friend? Who have I been seeing over and over again? You do agricultural gardens. You do public art. You know biology. I know infographics. I know this. Let's get together and create a movement. So our collective right now, it's called Regenerative Synergy. And what we're working at is doing picnics. What would we do if the river was already there? Let's go have a picnic. We've done 3 picnics. It's permeated into the entire, well, I would like to say the entire country, but at least 12 other simultaneous picnics, the second and the third one. We're planning for a collective meditation. We're planning for acoustic fireside sets around the river. So it's about really getting to know your neighbor. Architects, we bitch a lot, right? We criticize a lot and say, we don't have an urban plan. We don't have this. We don't have a strategy. Dude, we need to have a conversation with our neighbors. What do you want? We need to start there. And that's with our own close allies. A city must provide nutrition, food and water, and air, and everything around that. Without this, we have nothing, right? More people die around Mexico, in the cities of Mexico, right? We have 15,000 deaths relating to air quality. That's more than the drug war, right? If you drive a car in the city in Mexico, you're participating more than if you're giving money to the drug lords. There are no measurements of how much water kills people, because in our rivers there's arsenic, mercury, 70% of municipal shit, right? We're waiting for a water crisis, energy crisis, and a water crisis. It's now. It's right now. More than 80% of Mexico water treatment plants are off because municipalities don't have the energy to treat it. It's a lot of energy, a lot of chemicals, so that's high cost to people, to municipalities. So they prefer to pay the lights. They prefer to pay pumping for the sewers. They prefer to do other things. We need to focus on really high quality water, live water, spring water. And that feeds, I mean, the Aztecs conquered Mesoamerica because of their extremely high ability to control water and food production within the Mexico City watershed. One of the most efficient agricultural techniques called La Chinampa. One of the most beautiful places on earth, really, the Venice of the Americas. 2 lakes separated and abundant water. We live in La Zona de Anáhuac. That's close to the water or near the water. And the whole series of dynamics have changed that. Next, please. And it's frustrating, right? I mean, if you bitch about American government, you should meet Mexican government. Right? It's Region 4, it's not Region 1. And the corruption and all that is influenced by everything that goes on here. So we really need to work around that, because that's the system we're in. And we're not going to magically just say, get out politicians, put in politicians. Right now there's a perfect storm brewing in Mexico, I would say, and we've developed very, very punctual projects, from little wetlands in the upper watershed to a more big, that's very badly said, a bigger, sorry, a bigger project dealing with a water park and music around water and exhibitions around water. See, all the bureaucracy we need to deal with makes you be creative and say, what can we do? And if you get mad at a politician, he just says, well, thank you, come next week. So we really need to be creative and be funny and work around all the different messes we're at. And the truth is the truth. More people die in Mexico eating bimbo, which is our bread, and drinking Coca-Cola. Diabetes. 500,000 deaths of diabetes in Mexico. 80% of those caused by soda drinks. We beat you. We're the fattest nation on earth. We are. Kids and adults. So 500,000 deaths in the last 6 years. That's the truth. So again, nutrition, nutritious food. Let's communicate the facts, because there's a system change, and we're creators of that system. The thing that really has made it deep for me is my Gaia moments, right? When I'm lying on the beach watching the stars and realize I'm not watching up, I'm watching out. And we're going fuck fast that way. And the spaceship orbiting around, what? When you have those like expansive, right? It can be a moment in the river, a moment in the ocean, surfing, whatever you like, really. But those Gaia and opening moments is really what has made me commit to wanting to regenerate Mexico through community and through rivers. And watching how to do that. And coming here and going back there really just gives me nutrition and say, you know what? I am going to do it. I am going to fight for it. And if I would just boil down everything to one word, I'd use psychedelia. It's nature. It's medicine. It's mind consciousness. It's art. And how does that help us regenerate? How can we move beyond just using it as recreation and really going at working at it and really doing sort of like an uphab that we talked with a friend and providing these Gaia moments, these psychedelic moments, these completely expansive and connective moments with people who we feel need to live them. Like, let's go up a volcano. Let's look at the crater. That's psychedelic too. We have to be open to it. We have to be prone to it happening. Next, please. If anybody here doubts that we can change reality, stand up. Really. This was a desert 2 weeks ago, and this dude built all this with a span, and that dude that, and we created a city. So we can change reality for a week. And this reality changes your reality, right? So what is preventing us from changing our reality back home? And really building this community and the loving and nutritious and all these steps that we've talked about. And I love the edge. If anybody is familiar with permaculture, the edge where two ecosystems meet is the most nutritious part of both. It's the wetland, it's the mangrove, it's the wet forest or cloud forest, right? That edge is what really brings it home. And that's where the whole nutrition is. But we need to bring that edge back. This is the edge in the point. We learn a lot of things here. We grow a lot of our own personal stuff here. So we really need to bring this experience and nutrition that we live on the edges of life into our own daily lives. There is no other way but to go deep. Deep ecology, deep green, deep, really, deep within us. You know? I mean, I'm at odds a lot with this leave no trace thing. That we leave a huge trace. Watch the garbage at Walmart. We leave a huge trace. It's about leaving a positive trace. Being a regenerative human, working at regenerating yourself, is working at your own personal development and really saying, this is my vocation and I commit to it fully. It can be through art, again, through urban agriculture, through infographic art, digital art, multiple things. They all need to go deep and touch us to bring the change and really leave a positive trace. Thank you very much.